welcome to this week's Sandpile. We have Nelson from Webflow, and he's going to give us an overview and a nice little demo of Webflow, and then take some time and hopefully answer some questions at the end if there's time. Go ahead, Nelson.
Thank you for the intro. Yes. Just a little bit about me. Again, hi, I'm Nelson. I'm one of the customer success specialists over at Webflow. I've been using Webflow for about 5 years now, ever since they were in closed beta back in July of 2013. And after helping out with their community forums and just going to meetups and even started a YouTube channel about it, I was just a fan of Webflow right from the beginning after playing with it for just 1 hour. After 2.5 years of just doing that on my own time, the CEO of Webflow asked me to join the team, and now I'm doing exactly what I've been doing for the past 5 years as a full-time job. So I'm very, very happy to show you the power of Webflow. And just so I know for the people who's in the room, I think there's a chat room or something somewhere in Zoom. I don't know if you use it, but do people already have it? Anyone here learned about Webflow before in the past, or is this the first time actually seeing it?
There is a chat window. I can watch it for you, Nelson. It's hard for you to see it when you're presenting, but
okay.
Yeah. So we're getting some.
Okay.
You can see it now. Okay.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Cool. Yeah, so it's that Barry uses it, Pat, first time. Okay, cool. All right, yeah. So Webflow is really under the radar because we've grown just by our community, and only our community, and for the past 4 years. And it's just that this year it's when we started our marketing team, and so everything has been word of mouth. And we've grown this big just through word of mouth and creating awesome features. All right, so what we're going to do in this demo is 3 things that I like to do. I like to show off a little bit about what Webflow is, what it does, how you can build websites with it, and lastly, how to build dynamic sites. And when I talk about dynamic, I mean things like blogs or video gallery sites, photo gallery sites, news articles, real estate, whatever that needs to be. You need to have like a database in the back end. With Webflow, you don't need to code any of that. Okay, we're trying to streamline the web design process. Okay, so you don't have to code, but you still need to know the basics of HTML and CSS. It's the equivalent to like if you were to download Photoshop, and just because you have the tool doesn't mean you're a master graphic designer. Okay, you still need to know the basics of color theory, imagery, lighting, typography, layout. Those basic things you would learn from a class or school. Those things you need to know before you even use the tool to its full potential. And same thing with Webflow. You need to know the basics of just HTML and CSS. And once you learn those 2 things, you're off to the races with Webflow, because you can just quickly create those code without actually coding. Okay? All right. So without further ado, here we go. So I'm going to create a new project based on a free template. And so right here's my dashboard, and after I clicked on new website, I can start from a blank site, which is my favorite because I love it when I can just do whatever I want. Or you can click on free and start from a free template. Even some templates already have a database in the backend. Okay. So I'm going to start with this one, and it gives me a predefined name, so I'm just going to use that for now. And let that create the site. All right, there we go. So this is Webflow right here, okay? And just like other tools, you have your canvas in the center, and then you have your main tools on the left, and then all of your options on the right. So I'm going to do a quick overview of this tool. And if you need more information, because I'm going to go through this really quickly, if you need any information, university.webflow.com has so many videos, so many articles that we're always producing new stuff to help you understand Webflow with a simple search, okay? And we even teach you the basics of HTML and CSS on university.webflow.com, all right? So I strongly suggest researching that after this presentation. All right, so on the left, we have our basic tools, okay? And just like HTML and CSS, okay? Just like writing all your HTML codes where you would have to type in div or button or A for anchor tag. Everything's here. And I like to call this add panel your box of Lego bricks, okay? And just like playing with Lego bricks, they're all in a box, and it's just up to you to decide which ones to pull out and put together. And that's it, okay? And so if I want to add say an H1 to the page, all I have to do is drag and drop it anywhere I want. And right there, okay? So just like that, I've written an H1 tag, okay? So that's the add panel, and we have almost every type of HTML that you need, which is sections, anchored tags, your typography, images, videos. For video, it's pretty cool because it's you can pull in YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, whatever, and you don't even have to use the embed code from those services. You just put in the URL to that video, and then it'll do the magic for you. Okay, you can put in forms. We just came out with form file upload, so that's pretty cool if like you're starting your own type of job posting and you want people to upload a resume. That's pretty cool. ReCAPTCHA, we just came out with that. And these right here, these components, these are super powerful because these come with JavaScript, but you don't have to write JavaScript, okay? So for example, site search, tabs, a responsive navbar, etc., etc. There's so many things you could do with this. And then the last one, embed. If you have like a custom code or something, a custom snippet, code snippet that you need to put into your page, you can just drag this in and you get a small little code editor. All right. And that's it about this add panel. And then you have your pages. We'll go through this later. This is collections. And this is your assets. So your images, your PDFs and your doc and whatnot. And yeah, needs. Ooh, I clicked that mute button on time. I had to sneeze. All right, so, and then you have your site search, your search settings right here, so you can set your index and whatnot. Thank you, Pat. And that's about it for this left side. Okay, and then at the top, you have your preview, so you can actually preview what your page will look like. It's a real preview with animations and whatnot if you put any. And then you can see your breakpoints. And so what does your site look like responsively? Okay, in between each breakpoint, which is desktop, tablet, mobile landscape, and mobile portrait. Okay, and you can see how it looks in between each one. And then another powerful thing is the undo button. That save, you can export. With a paid account plan, you can export your code if you don't want to host on Webflow, and you'll get your inline, you'll get your static HTML, CSS, JS, and inline images. What you will not get with your export package is your database, your database or your database records. Okay, those stay within Webflow. And lastly, publish. And the cool thing about publishing and hosting a Webflow is that you can, without any FTP programs, you can just quickly publish to a webflow.io staging URL that's yours to keep for free, or connect it to your custom domain name. Okay, and when you host with Webflow, your site is backed up on Amazon Web Servers. It's served through Fastly.com CDN, Content Delivery Network, which is the same CDN that The Guardian uses. And also, again, you don't have to use FTP, and you can use our CMS features, which I'll show later on in the demo. All right, so that's it for the left and top. Now, the biggest panel right here on the right is our styles panel. This is basically writing CSS without writing CSS, okay? So let me give you an example. Let me delete this right here, okay? And I'm gonna do, and right here we have our heading. Now everything happens in real time. And this is the real power of Webflow. Whereas in the past you would have to type up your code, save it, open up a web browser, and press refresh to see your change happen. No, I don't really like that color. You have to go back to code, save it, refresh. No, I don't like the positioning, and so on and so on. It just takes too long. Whereas with real time, it just happens so fast that you can just design and make design decisions as fast as you want. Okay, so I'm going to give this a class name. I'm going to call it, let's just call it a heading. Okay, and if anyone's a developer in here, you're like, whoa, you just put a space inside of your class name. That's a no-no. I understand. And Webflow removes spaces, replaces them with dashes, and if there's any capital letters, we replace those with all lowercase. So there you go. Okay, so right here, what I'm going to do is I want to change this to the color white. So let's go here. Okay, I think white's nice, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to change the words to hello world. There you go. And I can change the font size. Let's go up by 10 pixels. And I'm holding shift and pressing up on my keyboard so I can go up and down, or just press up and down without shift. So I can play around with values like that. And also play at the same time. And that's what we're trying to do. All right. Now, should I take some questions first before I go on to the next section, which is talking about collections and database and whatnot?
We're doing good time-wise, so if you see chat sessions in the chat, go ahead. I, at some point, lost my connection and had to reboot. Fortunately, it kept the session going.
Nice.
So I lost my chat session, but if you see questions in there, go ahead.
Okay. All right. It just seems like there's just one question, and I didn't know if I should open it up. So yeah, if you have any questions, yeah, post them in the chat room, and I will answer them as fast as I can. Let's see here. As white label shop, URL is an issue when building sites for clients before going live. Barry, great question for white labeling. Yes, totally understand. We've had this question from our community before. And let's see here. One thing, yeah, so one thing that comes to mind is you can't completely white label Webflow. Okay, we don't have a complete white labeling feature. We do have what we call editor branding. Okay, and let me pull that up.
Yeah, I understand that. The problem is before we go live and point a URL that's on another site, you know, we have to send them a URL to look at the site and comment for changes and things like that. And, you know, we price our care plans, which I use. I don't sell hosting, I sell care plans, but you really don't want to have to deal with the fact that the client backs up and goes to webflow.io and looks at pricing, and just, we don't want to deal with that. We don't really discuss platforms that we use. So that is a problem. I tried to do a point subdomain over, and it didn't work either. So
yes. So yeah, you can point a subdomain. So what you would have to do is create a CNAME record, which is subdomain, and point that to proxy-ssl.webflow.com. But at that point, you're going to have to add on a hosting subscription to that Webflow project. Okay.
Right now, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think we have that CNAME
Because I looked it up and that was one thing that was confusing, but I don't want to take up a lot of time with this.
No problem, no problem. And there's the article right here, connecting a subdomain to help you out. But yeah, and so the cool thing about the editor branding in using this CNAME thing is that you can keep, with those two things, you can keep Webflow in the background as your secret weapon, and then you can use the client billing. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the client billing, but you can have your clients pay for the hosting themselves as a monthly fee, but also you can attach a profit to those invoices. And so say you're charging $20 a month for CMS hosting, which is the regular cost, but you want to make a profit of extra $20. So you would charge $40 a month, and 20 would go directly to us, and 40 would go directly into your own bank account.
Oh, really? Cool.
And so here's the article for that as well. And yeah, so great question. For Stephen, can we build web apps in Webflow? At this point, no. Okay, but there are large clients, large teams that are using Webflow to build their web apps, but they're using Webflow as their design shell. Okay, they have their design teams and they have their development teams. And what's cool about Webflow is that the two teams use Webflow as a bridge, because a lot of things get lost in translation. For example, when you're talking to a graphic designer, they're usually talking about leading and kerning, whereas developers using CSS, we say letter spacing and line height. And so there's already a loss in translation there. And so Webflow can have the teams together on one screen and say, okay, the designer wants to do this, and they can see if it's possible or not, because they're using Webflow as a real-time tool to help them understand if something's possible. And then developers, they wouldn't have to code that basic HTML and CSS. The designers can export the HTML, CSS, JS, and inline images and have that shell sent to the developers, and developers, all they have to focus on is putting in that Angular or that React JavaScript framework, whatever magic that they do, they just put that in. So the designers export the design shell, send it over to developers. Developers can focus on what they need to focus on, which is making it more dynamic. So, but I think it would be really cool to make a web app inside of Webflow, having a designer like just make their own Yelp or something if they have some sort of idea. That would be awesome. And you know, we're maybe like this, these are the steps. I don't know for sure, but maybe these are the baby steps we're taking. I know that one big step that we're taking right now is e-commerce, and we recently announced that with webflow.com/ecommerce landing page. And it's a way for people to create their own e-commerce site and really design and brand the checkout process, the add to cart process, the checkout process, including the emails that get sent out to the buyers. So all without code. So everything's going to be done inside of Webflow, which is, to me, is going to be really awesome. And I think, Barry, you said kind of with collections, it's my understanding. No, I'm not sure what you mean by that, Barry.
The question was for web apps regarding Business Catalyst.
Oh.
Okay. Dave might be able to explain it better, but web apps connect to databases. We can do tons of different things. And from making a homepage slider to a team page, some of the stuff you already have built in. But we do a lot more complex database lookup and sorting and things like that with a combination of a web app and Liquid. And my understanding is with collections, you can do some stuff. That's what I was saying, but not everything that we can do in BC right now.
Yeah, correct.
And
all right, makes sense. So I guess it's a good segue to talk about the collections. Okay, So, and yeah, Steven, I'm about to answer your question. Are there blogs in Webflow? If so, can we customize them using a database? All right, cool. Here we go. Back on my screen. So, a database, we call databases collections. And collections, we call it collections because it's a nicer way to say database for us designers, because like database, big word. Oh no, a lot of coding and all that stuff. But collection, it's a collection of data. So collections, see? Anyways. So yes, you can create your own blog post, and let's just make a database from scratch, okay? So I'm going to click on this right here. So it looks like a database icon, but let's just call them collections. I'm gonna click on this for a new collection. I'm gonna call it a custom blog, okay? And I'm gonna go here and give it a slug. I'm just gonna call it blog. Oh, sorry, it exists. Okay, I'm gonna post. Yeah, post. And here's a preview of what's going to look like. It's your URL /post/ whatever the blog page slug is, okay? And now I can create my own custom collection however I want by clicking on the add new field. And here we go. This is where the power of the collections starts. It's really cool because you have your plain text field, your rich text. You're basically structuring your collection however you want, okay? And so in rich text is really good for blog posts because not only can you put text in it, but you can also put inline images, you can embed videos, you can do a lot of stuff inside of these rich text. Yeah, so that's what you would use: images, video links, etc., etc. A switch is pretty cool because all it is just a boolean, what we call it, true or false. And people use this switch for mainly like, is this a featured post, or should this post be on the home page? Yes or no. That's a simple way of showing it. But the two most powerful fields is the reference, single reference, and multi-reference. And what this does, it makes your collections work like a relational database, okay? So, for example, if I want to connect this to the categories collection, I would just click on reference, give it a label of category, and now I'm going to select categories. And there we go. I've now connected the two collections together, okay? And just as you see here on the right side for helpful information, it's good for authors, categories, services, etc. All right, so we have a category. We can put whatever we want, but for time, I'm going to discard all of this and pretend we've made this one right here, this blog post. And so this blog post collection has main image, is it featured, et cetera, and two single references, one to the authors and one to the category, all right? And since this is a template, it's already pre-filled, and so we have, if I go here inside of the collection, we can edit it however we want. Yay, broken image. Let's delete that and pretend we never saw it. Or we can add our own. Let me see if I got one. What's this thumb? Okay, I'll just use this from an old blog. Okay, cool. So I've just uploaded an image inside of that one part. Okay, and let me go and get a YouTube video. Video courses, just to show you. Intro to Designer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a video URL and paste it into the blog post just to show you how easy it is. So I'm going to right-click, copy video URL. So it's a YouTube video, and I'm just going to put it right here. I'm going to press plus, and if you ever used medium.com, it's kind of like that. Press the plus sign, video, paste in my YouTube, and there we go. No code needed. I can do a full width to the left of the copy, to the right of the copy, size it up however I want. Yeah, it's up to you. Okay, so there you go. Press save, and there you go. Custom blog posts. All right, any questions about this part? I know I went through it really fast, but yeah, while I'm waiting for questions, another thing that's really powerful is if you're coming from, say, WordPress or something, you can export your WordPress database or your blog post as a CSV and then upload it here, and we'll take your data and put it into the collections for you. And if no questions, I'm happy to move forward. Okay, let's go. All right, so another awesome part about Webflow is designing in real time with your collection data, okay, or your collection items. And I'm gonna delete all of these real quick, just to show you how fun it is. Okay, so we'll just start, let's delete this one as well. Okay, we'll start here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull in that collection data and start designing what it'll look like, okay? So when I wanna pull in or connect a database or a collection into the page, all I would have to do is drag in a collection list. I'm gonna put it inside this, let's put it right here. All right, and now it's asking me which collection do I want to pull from. I'm going to pull from the blog posts, and I'm going to set it to, let's do 3 columns. There we go. And as you can see here, the names of each blog post is showing up, but there's nothing else showing up because I have a blank slate of items, and when I do something with one, it happens to all of them. It's the same thing like in, say, WordPress, and you're doing that while loop. Okay, so this is showing all the records inside of the collections until the end of records. Okay, or yeah, end of record, end of file, something like that. EOF, forgot what was the thing. But anyways, so first thing I want to do is let's go ahead and put a link block inside of one of these. Okay, so I'm going to drag in a link block, and again, if I do something on one, it happens to all the other records. Okay, or all the other items. Okay. And so this link block, I'm going to call it blog link. I'm going to style it with display block, give it a minimum height. Let's actually set the height to something like 250. And round out the corners to 5. Let's give it a border of like black, but it's like kind of faint. Let's go down like that. Also, let's push it away from each other. They're bumping into each other. So let's go like this. Actually, just on the top and bottom. Okay, let me delete these right here on the sides. Yeah. All right, cool. That looks good. Let's give it a background color of white. There we go. And let's go ahead and do let's box shadow. Actually, I'm going to delete that box shadow. Let me do the box shadow on hover. Make it black. Make it faint, a little bit like that. Blur it out. Ooh, too much. Blur it out like that. There we go. And this will only show up on hover, so it's set to none. And let's go ahead and set the timing on the background. Actually, is it border? No, box shadow, there it is. So 200 milliseconds to have a smooth, if I preview it, a smooth transition, okay? And right here, let's go ahead and put the background image. So we're gonna get a background image from blog post, and we'll pull it from main image, okay? And we're gonna center that, set it to cover, centered, and there we go. And notice how they're all different images because it's pulling these images from the collection. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. You set this to, now I'm going a little bit fast just to show you how fun it is to design in this. So I'm just gonna keep going. Let's see here. Nope, I want a gradient, and we'll set that to something like that. Flip it. Turn this off to 0. Turn back on. Something like that. And now I can also put in put in the text. can align it to the bottom. And the text right here is going to be pulling from, so I'm binding this text element, pulling from the name of the blog post. And let's go ahead and keep designing because it's fun. Push that away from the bottom, something like this. Make sure that, make it bigger, more readable. There you go. And right then and there, I've designed what the database look like, and all I have to do is just press publish, and it's live. And there you go. And each collection has a collection template page, and so this one's already pre-made because again, it's a template. But you can design however you want your blog page to look like, and then you can see each of the different blog posts right here. So the road ahead is what we did. My video's right there. My image is right there. And there you go. That's just the tip of the iceberg, the very small tip, because there's so much more you can learn at Webflow. And hopefully you can understand the power of Webflow just with that quick overview. And yeah, I'm happy to answer any more questions before I get on to the very last part, which is the CMS editor for your clients.
I'm not sure, Nelson, if I missed it or not. Is there any opportunity for, in Business Catalyst world, we call secure zones or password protected access to content?
Yeah, yep, there is. Great question. And so what you can do in your project settings, or actually, we'll start here. I'm gonna go to the home. Say you're creating a page. Say the about page isn't done, but the rest of the site is live. What you can do is set a password protection to just this page, or you can create a subfolder, and that subfolder and all its child pages are all password protected. And so you set one password for that. Another thing you can do is password protect the whole project. And you can do so from your project settings, click on website password, and that's it. Set the password, send the URL to your user or to your client and the password, and they'll be able to see it.
Okay, so not at a user specific level, but at a page view level is what I'm seeing, right?
Correct. If you're looking for things like where users have their own dashboard, or they can log in and register for their own account or something like that, where it becomes a web app, we don't have a native solution for that. But one of our customer success specialists, Micah, he actually figured out how to do something with Auth Pro, a third-party thing. And I'll send you the link right here.
Perfect.
But it's, go ahead.
I was just going to say this. I know some of our community is interested in that kind of thing. So.
Oh yeah. A lot of people are. But yeah, security is like a huge deal, especially when it comes to e-commerce. So, we're taking those small steps to make something big happen. So if we get there, we'll get there. But good question. Steven, could we embed a podcast player into the blog posts and add the podcast episode ID to a collection to pull? Sorry if that's, I totally understand what you mean, Steven. And that's another awesome part about Webflow. It's the dynamic embed, all right? What you can do is, say you have a blog post, right? And you have a episode ID. Okay, and that's like you're pulling from a third party like a SoundCloud or something. Actually, let me just show you. Let's see here. SoundCloud. I love Melody Sheep. Really cool guy. Let me see. Real quick. Let's see. This share button right here. Embed. So if you look right here, where is it? So they have a track number. Let me see if I can pull that. Is tracks, color, da, da, da. Okay, so in this code right here, let's see here. Okay, I don't want that. So in their code right here, there's a track number, okay? And so what I can do is just pull that track number and this embed code, and it'll show it. So let's see here. Okay, on my collection, I'm gonna add another field, and I'm gonna call it plain text. I'm just gonna call this SoundCloud ID. SoundCloud ID. There we go. Save collection. And now for this road ahead, my new field is down here, SoundCloud ID. I'm gonna just put in that music track's ID number, save, close. And now I'm gonna go to the blog post page, go to that road ahead, okay? And we're gonna put that above the blog post, okay? And so here's the cool thing, ready? You can put in code and pull in values or data from the collection. So I'm gonna put our dynamic embed here. I'm going to put my SoundCloud embed code here, okay? And then right here, this is the track number, but I'm gonna delete it, okay? So I deleted my track number, and I'm gonna add field SoundCloud ID, and there we go. I've connected this code to, and I see Dave smiling. Is that you smiling? And save and close, and there we go. It pulls it. Now, what I'm gonna do, one more thing, I need to do a conditional visibility. So I'm gonna press the plus and say SoundCloud, this element is only visible when SoundCloud ID is set, okay? So if I go to another page, that SoundCloud doesn't show up because the SoundCloud ID isn't set for this blog post. But if I go and find another thing, let's see here, what's one of my favorites? Just really quick. Sure, why not? Let's Steve Urkel. I'm gonna go to embed, find their track ID. Hello, track ID. I think this is the one. Whatever. Okay, so for this is Through the Mist, I can go here, Through the Mist, scroll down, track ID. I wonder if that's the same one. But anyways, you go back. Yeah, it was the same one. But yeah, there you go. It's showing on here Through the Mist, but it's not showing on Sunny Side Up. Now it's showing again on Road Ahead, and there you go. And Steven's saying exactly what I'm talking about, except from Libsyn, legendary. Oh my God, this took ages to code up in BC. Oh, well, there you go. It only took a few seconds. You take your code and yeah. And that's what I love about Webflow. Again, it's a rabbit hole of fun things to learn. And another thing I've done with this, it was for a yoga studio site, and they wanted to show off the intensity between each of their classes. And I just told the client, okay, just put the percentage, okay, out of 100, what is the intensity level like? And so I made her a custom animated bar graph, depending on which class the user was looking at. So, and that's just based off of code. And all I did was like div and then style with equals, and then pull that data from the collection. So yeah, it's pretty fun. You can do a lot of stuff with dynamic embeds. Yeah, so that's a good segue to, if there's no other questions, to the CMS editor, what your clients will see. Okay, so let's get into that. I'm gonna press publish so I can see it real quick. Okay, let's go to, so you've probably seen other CMS editors or other apps where a user has to, or a client, you have to train them how to use or how to maintain their site. And still, there's this opportunity for your clients to completely break your design without you knowing. And it makes sense because they probably don't know what they're doing either, but they're just trying to maintain their sites, okay? With Webflow, what I tell clients is, if you can click, you can maintain your site, and that's it. And one person, I remember when they saw how much training I do for the CMS, they're like, wait, how come you only provide 30 minutes of training and not an hour? You know, at least an hour, because that's what they're used to. And I said, if it takes you more than 30 minutes to learn how to maintain your site, then something's wrong with the app itself. So here we go. I've hyped it enough. This is the CMS editor. What you see is really what you get. The only difference between the published site and me being logged in is this bottom bar right here, okay? A quick side note, that editor branding or whatever, you can remove and replace our logo with your own. And that's what this is right here, okay? So I'm logged in. If I want to change Hello World to something else, all I have to do is click Sandpile, click outside of the element, publish, confirm I want it to be published. I'm done. I've just edited the page. There's no separate GUI. There's no separate admin tool. It's just this. Because we believe that clients should be focused on what really matters, their business. They shouldn't be a web developer or web designer themselves. They don't have time for that. And it hurts, it hurts me personally when I hear a designer or a business talking to their client, having a meeting and using terminology that they shouldn't be using. Things like, oh, click on this module to get to this panel, to get to it. Don't use that. They want to focus on their business, which is more important to them, you know? And so this app, Webflow, can help streamline all of that. Okay, so that's editing like just text. Yeah, that's simple, right? But what if you want to edit a link? Well, click the cog, edit a link setting. Should it go to this page? Should it go to another? Should it go to another page or external link, phone number, email? What do you want? What do you want it to do? Same thing up here. If I want it to go here, edit link settings. I want to go to another page inside of the site or another blog post. Where do you want it to go? Okay, and if you want to change the background image, I can't get to that. Okay. There we go. If I want to change the background image, let me see here. I'll just use, what is this? Okay. Just weird things, weird bars. There we go. I changed the background image. So that's static stuff if I want to change static stuff. All right. So what if your client wants to edit some dynamic stuff? Like this is all dynamic stuff from the collections. Well, they can go ahead and edit it the same way as if it was other types of text, static text. There we go. And there we go. I've just edited that inside of the collection. Okay. If I want to dive in deeper, I can go to that actual page. Oh, I didn't link it yet. Hold on, need to link it. Let me go back to Designer real quick, fix that. And see, everything's already changed on the Designer side. Go to the link, go to settings, goes to its blog post page, publish, and it's done. Once that's published, I can go back to editor and get on with my day. Okay, so back to where I was. If I want to, as a client, I want to drill down even deeper, I can click on, let it load, click on this, and there we go. Now, what if I want to go even deeper than this? You can click on Collections tab at the bottom and go to your blog post. And I think it's, yeah, that one right here. And it's the same exact thing in the Designer mode, but you know, for the clients, and it's just down at this bottom toolbar. Okay. And the last thing I want to show you is this right here. All your pages. You can search through your pages, but most importantly, which a lot of clients ask for, is how do I control my SEO? click the settings. And you can turn password protection on and off, SEO right here, Open Graph right here, and site search settings. And there we go. And that's it for the demo. And again, I'm happy to take any questions you may have about it. From Jack, is two-step authentication available or required for client logging to the site? Two-step authentication is not available for the CMS editor, but it is available for the designer account. So you as the Webflow designer, when you log in, there is two-step authentication available. Otherwise, I'd be leery of how easily someone can edit the site, hacking. So we keep backups of the site. Every 20 autosaves. But that is something, yeah, I totally understand how you can be concerned about not having two-step authentication. And that's something I can bring up with the team. But how to add someone as a CMS editor is on the project settings. There's the editor tab right here. And you can add collaborators right here. But yeah, good point. Thank you, Jack. Steven, e-commerce. Yes, e-commerce is coming. Let's see here. It's webflow.com/e-commerce. It's a beautiful landing page that our lead brand designer, Ryan, has created. Without code, he's a graphic designer, but he built this. So, I mean, again, sky's the limit on what you can do. Hello, Webflow. Hi. There you go. Okay, so please join this beta. I'll put the link in the chat room. Yeah, so like I was saying, you'll be able to create your own custom grids. It's the same thing as, excuse me, it's the same thing as building a blog post page, just like I've already shown you. But this part right here, yeah, you can add animations, but this part right here, you can style the cart however you want. Unlike other tools, it doesn't have to be on the right all the time. What if part of your brand or your client's brand is they want it to come up like as a modal like this, or they want to show it on the left like this? You're not beholden to the styles, the default styles of whatever third-party e-commerce app is giving you. And if you want to edit those third-party apps styles, you're going to need to know how to do you need to do CSS and custom coding, and that just gets weird. Whereas with Webflow, you can just style it just like I've already shown you, as well as the checkout pages. Okay, and then yeah. So yeah, check out that page. A lot more information. Very excited about it. When is e-commerce ready? Soon. That's all I can say. Soon. We're working as fast as we can on it. But again, quality over quantity. We don't want to rush it too much, but we want to get it out to beta when we can, when we feel it's ready. Okay. Can it import? Steve is asking, can it import a BC blog? If you can export a Business Catalyst blog as a CSV, then yes. And anti-spasmodic features or JavaScript. What is anti-spasmodic? Dave, do you know?
Spasmodic. Any anti-spasmodic spam?
Oh.
Maybe anti-spam? Anti-spam, maybe?
Okay.
Oh, if you see a couple items down, he said anti-spam features.
Oh, yeah.
Autocorrect.
Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, autocorrect. Okay. Yeah, we have ReCAPTCHA, and I think I've shown that, but I can go back to it. Let me see here. Let me go back. Designer tool. Go to it. Yeah, so there is ReCAPTCHA for forms. We just came out with it. And right there, ReCAPTCHA. And then we have instructions on how to use it. That's very simple. Drag and drop, put in your API key, you're good to go. Secure zones. Steve is also asking secure zones and logging for customers. Sorry about that. No problem. Secure zones and logging for customers. That's I think I've already touched on that. If you scroll up, I have a link for the Auth Pro. Yeah. Jack is asking, will e-commerce be additional costs or included as part of a professional plan? Just trying to plan ahead. Totally understand. And that's something we're still figuring out, I think. I can't say for sure because that's our business team. That's their decision. But the beta, when the beta comes out and we start inviting people, then we'll see what kind of usage our servers are needing to handle and so forth. So it's up to them. I would definitely post this. I would definitely ask that on our forums. You should definitely ask that on our forums right when the beta comes out. Okay. And I think we'll be touching on that in our blog post. If not, at least on the forums. Okay. But yeah, and the e-commerce transactions will be handled by Stripe because that's what we already use for the client billing and all the other subscriptions on Webflow. Yeah. Is there anything else? And hopefully this is an eye-opening to some of you to see the power of Webflow. And yeah, is there a CRM we can easily connect to external CRM? You can, using either custom code or what I like to use, Zapier. And I don't know if anyone is familiar with Zapier, but Zapier is a third-party tool that takes data from one place and is the middleman to send it to another place. So you can take Webflow forms or collections, and when something happens, you can initiate a zap, and Zapier will see it, and you can push that over to like send Webflow form data to like Google Sheets, MailChimp, Salesforce. They have a lot of integrations. Yeah, you can just look here. Let's sort by CRM. Yeah, HubSpot, Salesforce, Agile. Yeah, on and on and on. I use custom JavaScript for form calculations, date checking, validations. Is that possible? You can do custom JavaScript inside of Webflow. Again, using that embed feature right here. Or if you go to the page settings, you can put custom code in your head tag or right before your end body tag, but after the JavaScript version 3, I think. Yeah, or jQuery version 3 call. And a while ago, I did something crazy. I did, let's see here. See here. See if this works. Oh no, it's this one. Oh yeah. So I was trying to do a calculator with this inside of Webflow. Cool. And then it calculates down here how much it's going to cost. Get Steven, form data. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Okay, well, I'm fine to stay around a little bit longer, and if you are as well, Nelson, that's great. But this is kind of the end of the normal amount of time that we have, so feel free to continue asking questions for as long as Nelson will put up with you.
All right, I'll give it about like the last 3 questions, if any. But yeah, like I said, there's I'm just a big fan of it. I'm a fan first before an employee, because I truly believe that this helps. Might sound kind of cliche, but it does help change lives, and it really helps designers become more empowered to do more stuff on the web and not be scared of code. not be scared of all the technical things that you have to learn, like what kind of server do I need to get so my site stays up? What kind of security do I need to keep my site not hacked and all this stuff? And so when I see the designer, the developer, and the client work together hand in hand, it just makes for a more beautiful web experience for everyone. Right? And if there's no questions, I want to just throw in some links into the recording. So youtube.com/webflow. I stream there every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And twitter.com/webflow app, instagram.com/webflow app. If you want to follow me, I'm at twitter.com/thepixelgeek. I also have my own YouTube channel, youtube.com/thepixelgeek. And yeah, what else? Oh yeah, and lastly, university.webflow.com. Amazing resource. Check it out, learn from it, and yeah, sign up for Webflow and have fun with it. It's free for the starter plan just to see if it fits into your workflow. And if it doesn't, hey, no harm, no foul. Thanks for trying it out. But if that's about it, thank you all so much for the opportunity to talk to you and your community. Dave, thank you. Thank you so much.
No, you're most welcome, and we appreciate you spending the time with us to show us what you're passionate about.
Thank you. All right. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your day.